Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. I'm doing an advanced Dungeons & Dragons advice video. I'm titling this one Problem Solving. In modern Dungeons & Dragons, 5th edition and D&D Beyond and things like that, player characters have tons of abilities and skill checks which allow them to navigate challenges in dungeons, and all they have to do is roll a die to solve the problem. Couldn't do that in Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. AD&D creates problem solvers. AD&D, in my opinion, is far, far better. I'm going to get into that in a minute. But first, if you enjoy my content, it would really help me out if you could hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, share my content, and post a comment or two. Remember, I welcome your comments, even if you disagree with me. Friends can still disagree. And if you have other advice or different advice or maybe something you want to add to this video, stick it in the comments. I'm sure we'd all love to read it. These are supposed to be instructional videos for new dungeon masters. So, yeah. And check me out over on Rumble for my political commentary and weekly current events. If you enjoy a good book, check out my author page over on Amazon.com. My pen name is H.L. Anderson. You can find all of my books there. I have 11 books published, including 2 tabletop role-playing games. This is one of them shown here, Outlaw Trails. It's set in the Old West. You can go on cattle drives. You can go on treasure hunts. You can go mine for gold. You can become an outlaw. You can chase down outlaws. Whatever you want to do, it's all included in there. And I designed it to be very simple so that even beginning gamers can pick it up and use it in a couple hours, be running games. Not just playing, but running. So yeah. I hope if you enjoy the Old West or Westerns, this game is for you. All right. Problem solving. In Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, you had to reason out situations and find ways to solve problems. Sometimes a well-placed fireball or a pass wall or a spider climb spell will do the job. Sometimes you don't have the proper spell memorized or maybe the proper spell components. Maybe time is of the essence. It's times like these that you look to the group's collective gear and try to make do with what you have. I did an Advanced Dungeons & Dragons advice video on supplies. Go and check that one out. At the bare minimum, a character needs a tinderbox, rations, a water skin, a backpack, spell components if necessary, a light source. Torches don't last long, but lanterns are more expensive and require oil, but they last a lot longer, so you got to weigh that. If you have a character with infravision, that helps, but it's not perfect. You also have to have blankets and weather-appropriate clothing. This stuff is all pretty self-explanatory, okay? That's not what I'm talking about in this video. Here are some things to consider when you're outfitting your character, especially if you plan to go into a dungeon. It's hard to plan ahead and buy gear when you don't know what you're going to do, but what I just listed there, that's the bare minimum. If you don't have that, I don't know what the hell you're doing, honestly. Got a drink of coffee there. Some things you want to consider if you're going into a dungeon setting. Iron spikes and a hammer are always useful. I had somebody ask me the other day, what the hell are you buying spikes for? Because we're in a 5th edition game. And I said, they're always useful. You can use them to anchor rope for climbing up and down. You can use them to spike doors open or closed. Well, I don't understand with that. I've got this spell, Leoman's Tiny Hut, or I've got this, Wyvern Watcher. And that's all good. But what if you don't have that? For whatever reason, the guy who had that spell got killed, or he just didn't take it for the day. You got to have a safe sleeping space. So if you cleared a room and you know it's secure, spike the door shut. It helps. It also helps to slow down pursuers. If you're hauling ass through a dungeon, running from a big bad guy that you can't defeat, head through a doorway, shut it, spike it closed, a couple spikes in there. He's going to have a hard time getting through that door while you beat feet. And yeah, running is a viable option in Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. You can't defeat everything, so fear is an acronym. Forget everything and run. right. 10-foot poles. 10-foot poles are a necessity. People go, I don't understand why you bought that 10-foot pole. For checking the floor and doors ahead, checking for traps, keeping an opponent at a 10-foot distance. Yeah, people go, well, you can't do that. Sure, why not? If I have a 10-foot pole and a bad guy is trying to come at me, I brace this end against the wall. I'm keeping that, at his chest. He's going to have a hard time getting through there. It's going to slow him down so the archers can make him a pincushion. Yeah, or the wizard can cast a spell or something. The 10-foot poles are invaluable. Chalk. Yeah, we're not talking. You're not drawing chalk. Taking chalk in order to draw pretty pictures. Chalk for marking floors and doors to prevent getting lost. If you're walking down a hallway and you wait a minute, this seems kind of familiar. You look around. Oh yeah, there's chalk. We've been here before. We need to go this other way. That kind of thing. Chalk is wonderful for that. Chalk has a variety of uses. That's just one of them. I buy flour almost every single time, especially if we're over 3rd level. If our characters are 3rd level, you start buying flour. And newer players are like, when the hell are you doing that? Because you got to track invisible creatures. What? Yeah, you take flour, a handful of flour, and throw it out there. It's in the air. It lands on things. It lands on the floor. You now have a visible target to shoot at. Yeah. And also flour is good for making bread. For those of you who don't understand how bread is made, I mean, it's surprising, but there are people out there who don't know how bread is made. So there you go. Anyway, oil. I talked about this in some other videos that I don't remember the name, maybe in the supplies one. But it's starting fires, weapon and armor upkeep. You can also use it as weapons. Yeah. Oh, can't surprise me. Yeah, you take a flask of oil, you put some cloth in it, set fire to the cloth, throw it, it becomes a Molotov cocktail. Yeah, instant fireball. Oil has so many uses. You could, if you have a bunch of it, you could throw it on the floor and makes the floor slippery. The bad guy falls down. You throw a torch, boom, fire. Mirrors. Mirrors are wonderful for signaling and for checking around corners. People discount mirrors, and I don't understand why. Rope for climbing up or down, or for restraining enemies. Say you want to you've got the bad guy. You want to ask him questions to find out what's ahead or find information that he has. You got to tie him up. Rope is handy. I'm just saying. A shovel and or a pick. You got to have at least one or both of those in the party somewhere. Sometimes you just need a digging implement. If there's a cave in, you got to dig your way through there. If somebody creates a wall of stone, you want to hack your way through it. I mean, come on. Bad guys are devious like that. Shovels and picks are useful. And finally, the last one I'm going to talk about, there's a bunch of different stuff you probably need to take, and I'm sure other people, experienced players, will want to put stuff like that in the comments. Don't forget this because of this. Don't forget this. It's useful for that. Please do so, because this video would be 8 hours long if I included everything. But sacks, large and small sacks. If you do manage to find treasure, you may need a way to carry it out. Gold is heavy. Sacks are useful. Gems, you got to have a big bag of gems, that kind of thing. If it's not already in a container, if they're scattered around, you got to have something to put them in. Very few articles of clothing had pockets back then. If you had a clothing with a pocket, that was, you were living high on the hog. Just saying. Now, again, this is by no means a complete list. There are tons of things that could prove useful in an emergency, and it's up to the player to think outside the box and find ways to live, survive, and thrive. Don't forget the weather-appropriate clothing. I talked about this. I even did a video on weather. When the snow starts to fall, that loincloth is going to freeze solid, and that is not good. I don't care who you are. If you're the big bad barbarian wearing a loincloth, he can still freeze to death. The Unearthed Arcana has a listing for cold weather clothing and very cold weather clothing. I did a video titled Budget Cloak of Protection. Go check that out. There used to be a TV show called MacGyver. That dude could build a nuclear reactor with a box of matches and a roll of duct tape. In Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, duct tape and matches do not exist. Plan accordingly. Hope this finds everybody well. And again, if there's something imperative that you feel as an experienced gamer, if there's something imperative that you feel that I left out, stick that in the comments. I know I left a bunch of stuff out. I was trying to do the basics here because, again, you know, the video would be 10 minutes long, 20 minutes long because it's already 11. Yeah. Stick that in the comments, please. These are AD&D advice videos. They're supposed to be instructional for younger players. Stick that in the comments. With all this stuff going on with D&D Beyond and 5th edition bullshit with Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro, there are going to be people who are going to be looking for different games to play, stuff that they can get a hold of and play forever without having to sign on to a computer or to go online or whatever, without having to subscribe. Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, in my opinion, is the way to go. So, we need to give these guys as much advice as possible. And again, I'm not perfect. I don't know everything. So there you go. Hope this finds everybody well. You folks have a good one. God bless one and all.